Hitting 30 and realizing you are starting your wealth building journey from absolute zero, man, that is a heavy feeling. It's this sudden, quiet panic that drops on you when you realize your 20s are officially over and that comforting idea that you have plenty of time to figure money out has just expired. Welcome to Zach Wealth Files. In this explainer, we are going to tackle the 30th birthday panic head-on and give you the exact framework to actually catch up.
Look, if you're 30 and just now taking this stuff seriously, I know there's a good chance you're carrying a lot of anxiety right now. You log online and it feels like literally everyone else your age is buying houses, maxing out their 401ks, and posting screenshots of their massive portfolios. Meanwhile, you're sitting there feeling like you are starting from absolute zero, like you're miles behind the starting line. It's a very real, profound pain point for so many people.
And that leads us straight to the big question staring you in the face. Is it too late? Have you already missed the compounding window? Well, today I'm going to walk you through the actual Federal Reserve benchmarks for your specific age group. We're going to run the honest math on what starting at 30 actually builds by retirement, and then I'm giving you an exact step-by-step action plan to catch up.
Okay, so comparing yourself to an actual data point is infinitely more useful than comparing yourself to a vague feeling of being behind. And for the gold standard of truth, we always look at the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances. According to the Fed, the median household net worth for the under 35 age bracket is just $39,000. Now, I want you to really focus on the word median there. That means exactly half of all households in your age bracket have even less than this to their name. So if your net worth is currently zero, or frankly even negative because of student loans, you are absolutely not an anomaly. You're part of a massive, completely normal cohort of people your exact age.
This brilliantly highlights the massive disconnect we see online, right? It's the internet myth versus Federal Reserve reality. You've probably heard those social media finance bros claiming the average net worth for people under 35 is way over $180,000. But that average is heavily skewed upward by a tiny fraction of trust fund kids and early tech exits. The median, that is your honest, representative reality. The boat hasn't left without you, it is literally just boarding.
Now, we are not going to sugarcoat the numbers on this channel. Starting seriously at 30 is mathematically different than starting at 25, and we need to look at exactly what that reality looks like. Let's run a quick illustrative estimate. If a 25-year-old invests $500 a month at a typical long-term estimated return of 7% over 40 years, they could plausibly accumulate roughly $1.3 million by age 65. But if you, at 30, invest that exact same $500 a month for 35 years, you end up with roughly $900,000.
So the crucial takeaway here is this difference, roughly $400,000. I want to honestly address this gap because it is the real mathematical cost of a 5-year delay. Losing those first 5 years of compounding costs you around $400,000 in this specific scenario. It's a real cost, and pretending it doesn't exist doesn't help anyone actually build wealth.
But we absolutely have to reframe this perspective. A $900,000 retirement is still a position of immense freedom and security. Beating yourself up over a closed window in the past generates zero compound interest. Seriously, the comparison that actually matters is 30 versus 40, or 30 versus never. And when you look at it that way, starting right now is overwhelmingly the better position. Zero is a crisis, $900,000 is a massive foundation.
Okay, this next part almost always gets skipped in the you're behind narrative, but it is a massive, uplifting reality for a 30-year-old. Our previous math assumed you could only invest the exact same amount at 30 as you could at 25. But by 30, you've had years to advance in your career. Actually, let me rephrase that. You've had time to really stabilize and increase your income. This chart perfectly illustrates that while the 25-year-old might be scraping by investing $500 a month, a 30-year-old often has the income to invest $800 or even $1,000 a month. And that higher contribution rate, it can actively catch up and completely offset the lost time.
And beyond the math, there's this massive psychological advantage you have now. At 25, saving for a retirement that is 40 years away is just an abstract concept on a spreadsheet. But at 30, it is a visceral reality. You've probably lived through some real financial shocks by now, right? A transmission breaking down, a surprise medical bill, maybe even a layoff. You don't just want a theoretical safety net, you intimately know exactly why you need one. And that kind of maturity, that fuels real, lasting financial discipline.
All right, now that we understand the math and the mindset, let's talk execution. You are 30, which means you just don't have time for beginner mistakes anymore. Here are the exact chronological steps required to catch up. First, get the employer match. Second, eliminate toxic debt. Third, maximize your tax-advantaged accounts. Fourth, Automate everything. And fifth, resist the comparison trap. Let's break down the most critical ones right now.
Step 1, capture the 100% return. If you have access to an employer 401k match, you must contribute enough to get that full match before you do anything else. It is an immediate, guaranteed 100% return on your money. Trying to catch up on wealth building while skipping your employer match is quite literally like trying to run a marathon with one shoe untied. Seriously, capture the free money.
Step 2, attack toxic debt. Now, the slide says guaranteed 20% return, and in the case of high-interest credit cards, it is the one and only time that phrase is actually true in finance. When you pay off a credit card that's charging 20+%, you are instantly stopping a massive, guaranteed drain on your wealth. There is no stock picker or real estate deal on earth that can reliably beat the risk-free math of just wiping out 20% debt. Until that toxic debt is gone, it's actively eating away your wealth.
Having a solid framework is great, but you need the exact right mindset to actually sustain it over the next 35 years of your working life. You really have to watch out for the sunk time fallacy. This is the false belief that just because you missed investing in your early 20s, the whole game is rigged and it's basically pointless to optimize now. Listen to me. The market does not care what year you were born. It only cares about your principal, your rate of return, and your time horizon. And starting at 35 years is still a massive, highly effective time horizon.
The reality you absolutely must internalize is that wealth building is an endurance event. It is not a sprint. Think about a 22-year-old who starts super early but contributes erratically, panics during a market crash, and completely quits investing by 35. A consistent 30-year-old starter who stays in the market for 3 solid decades will absolutely obliterate that early starter's portfolio. Finishing the race is what actually builds wealth.
And this brings us to a core Zach Wealth Files philosophy that I want you to remember whenever you start feeling behind. Consistency beats chronology every single time. Your savings rate and your dedication starting today matter infinitely more than the years that have already passed you by. You have the total power to define your financial outcome from this exact moment forward.
Real quick before we wrap up, I need to provide an honest caveat. This explainer is for general education, not personalized financial advice. The 7% returns we discussed are illustrative estimates based on historical averages. They aren't guarantees, and all investing carries real risk, including the risk of losing money. Always consider your specific income and debt and consult a licensed advisor to tailor this framework to your exact situation.
I want to leave you with a final thought and a question. What age did you actually start taking your finances seriously? And how do you feel about it now? Drop your answer down in the comments below. I read every single one. Today is the day to close the spreadsheet, forgive yourself for the years you didn't invest, and finally automate that transfer. If this explainer replaced your financial anxiety with an actual, calculable plan, do me a favor and subscribe to Zach Wealth Files for more honest, grounded breakdowns. I'll see you in the next explainer.